Hello. Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Oh my God, this is so dark. I didn't want to move this situation because I have my studio here. Is it really annoying, you guys? Should I just go ahead and make the um effort of moving the light? Hi. Hello, hello. Let's see who is here, you guys. Oh my gosh. Hello, 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 hello. Hi, Mary. Hi, Liz. Hi, Shayna. Let's see. Okay. Now that I am here, I'm so sorry. This is so overwhelming. In a happy way. Oh my gosh, you guys are all awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michelle, for being here. Robin, hello. I'm so sorry I am not reading exactly the comments because I'll be here forever. Barbara, hello, good evening. Hello. But I will be going back and reading everything. This is one of those lives where I will be for sure going back and reading everything because I don't want to miss any of the comments. Hello. Hi, Sandy. Thank you for coming. Hello. Sheena. Oh, I'm glad that you like the thumbnail. I was nervous about it. But yes, I'm actually very proud of this thumbnail. I'm so proud. Let's see. You guys. Hi, Nancy. Hello. I think I'm almost coming to the end. Hello, you guys. I am. Oh my gosh, Sandy, thank you so much. Good evening. Hey, Kay. So, you guys, yes. Today is my 1-year anniversary. It's been quite a journey actually because I had been smoking cigarettes for about 20 years. So more than half my life I had been smoking cigarettes, and on a day like today, right around this time last year, I was probably counting how many hours had it been since the last time I had smoked a cigarette. And at this point, I would have had 22 hours because the last cigarette that I had was May 31st at around 10 p.m. So it's something that I honestly did not think that I would really had been able to accomplish. The journey is not over. Like I said, in a few times actually this week, I have shared the quote, it's not about the destination. And I really, really, truly believe that. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. And I know that my journey is not over. It's definitely not over. This is still in the in the mere beginning of the journey, and here we are. Let's see. Thank you so much. I know that it's not just cigarettes though, right? When we hear the word addiction, it's not just the first. And I don't know if I can actually use like all the words on YouTube. I didn't research that actually, but I'm not going to be saying anything. I'm not going to be saying any like swear words. So I hope that all those like actual words are okay. Um, and before I continue, I did want to disclaimer that I might, be touching up on topics in the addiction category that may be triggering. And if you have little ones around you, it's up to your discretion. I'm not going to be going into too many like bare minimum detail like that. I mean, bare like fine details like that, but just like just put it out there. And if I get nervous, you guys, I'm sorry. I have my little fan here because I'm already like getting hot. um I I also want to say, and also if I don't always read the comments, again, I promise I'm going to be going back to the comments at the end of this live, and I will be reading everything. But I think I'm going to be a little chatter every now and then. If you really, really, really need me to like read something, please highlight my name, because I am on YouTube on my computer, and I'll be able to see it, and I'll see the highlight. But so yes, uh, how can I start? Um, I wanted to come I wanted to come on live because, as we know, May was one of those months that signified so much for so many reasons, um, for so many different people. But one of those things that resonated with me, that still resonates with me, um, is mental health, right? It is over, and I talk about it almost daily. And if we talk on a daily basis or often, or if you've seen any of my videos so far, you've might have already caught on to that pattern. Um, Part of that mental health is addiction. And when we hear the word addiction, right, the very first thing that pops up to the mind is drug. And when we think about drugs, we think of what's out there in the streets. um but unfortunately, addiction is not only that type of drug. um addiction can come in so many different ways. And while cigarettes is a drug of sorts, pretty legal, but in many ways, because if you're 18 or older, it's just there. It's just very easily available to that young adult. As soon as you turn 18, bam. But it's also very easy to obtain, because if you have a friend who's already 18, you have that free pass. So cigarettes is one of those things where you can smoke outside on a free range, and it's okay. Is it frowned upon because it smells, it's stinky, and it's like, oh, yes, but you can. Nobody's gonna, no officer, no law enforcement will stop you and arrest you for it. So you go ahead and you do your thing, right? I was a chain smoker. I was a chain smoker. I would I would smoke back to back, you know, every half hour, every hour. In one session, depending on my emotions, I would, on how I was feeling. It could, and it didn't necessarily have to be that I was sad or down or depressed or worried or anxious or blah, 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 blah. No, I smoked when I was at my happiest, when I thought that I was so happy because I wanted to go celebrate. I would smoke because I just had the best dish, the best meal. And I was so full that I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go outside and smoke. I would smoke just because I would open my eyes in the morning and I'm like, oh, it is such a nice, beautiful day. I got to open my eyes today, and that's such a blessing. Let me go smoke a cigarette to celebrate that too. So it wasn't just when I was anxious or when I was sad or when I was mad. It was at all times. Everything I did had a reason. It was a reason for me to celebrate with a cigarette. And I tried to stop many times. I did. I tried to stop many times because I know, I do know, I've always known that cigarettes are not good for you. That one of the long term consequences, as we all know, one of those things is cancer, something that is very close and dear to me personally, because cancer runs in my family. Um, but even that didn't stop me. It slowed me down every now and then, but even that didn't stop me. The thing about addiction is that sometimes it's not about that cigarette, the physical cigarette, right? It was more about, I don't know, the habit of having something in your hands, something to do that that was, what somebody else probably wouldn't do, that, you know, and it was so wrong. But you would do it anyways, you know? The thing about addiction also is not the fact that um just because it may be legal, you can do it, you know? There's just so much about it that it's almost a little complex, a little too complex. And to go ahead and try to define what addiction is, even though we already know what it is based on what we see, whether it's what we witness with a loved one, what we witness personally. Well, that might be a little different. Let me take that one back. But, what we witness with a loved one, with someone that we care about, it doesn't have to be close to you. It could be far from you. You probably are close with somebody and you've never met the person, but you know that that person is struggling with something. And, it's very complex. And it starts to become a little bit easier to understand, but not really, when it's you the one who struggle with an addiction. Now, an addiction, again, is not a illegal street drug. Let's just call it that, right? Including the cigarettes. So what happened when and I'm kind of going all over the place. I'm sorry. I'm a squirrel minded. But what happened after I stopped um, smoking cigarettes, right? What happened? My bridge, My bridge was to not go to New Hampshire. Um, my bridge was to not go to New Hampshire. Does that make sense? My bridge is not what? No. My my bridge was sugar, right? And I chose not to go to New Hampshire because in Massachusetts on June 1st, 2020, Massachusetts banned menthol from all shelves. And that's the reason why I decided to take advantage of the opportunity, because it was not going to be easily available to me, right? Um, but I'm only 10 minutes away from Salem, New Hampshire. And that's okay if I put that out there. I mean, you'll know. Anyways, with all my social media, not exactly where I am, um, but yeah, it's totally okay. That could be at any bordering direction, so I'm totally good. But that's just to say that I'm only 10 minutes away from being able to obtain the very thing that I couldn't get, just about anywhere walking distance, right? Um, but I chose not to because I had to be strong, and I knew I had to be strong. But what I did was that I turned more so, because I was already addicted to sugar and I already knew that. But I turned to drinking my sugar. And I'm not talking about like liquefying sugar, the powdered sugar. No, I'm talking about like, the coffee has to have like an extreme amount of sugar. And, I would drink all the juices in sight, even though I've never been a juice person. And I also turned to energy drinks, which, by the way, yes, I'm about to drink one, because otherwise I might just fall asleep. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is, from one substance to another, addiction comes in many different ways. Now I want to pause right here so my curtain is open. Hang on one second. Okay. Sorry. And yeah, so I lost my train of thought and I didn't want them to come in. So I am going to say all of that to say that I am proud of where I am today. I am very proud of where I am today. And today I am 1 year sober. And it's been a journey, and the journey is continuing to go on. But I'm proud. I started smoking cigarettes when I was about 16 years old. So, yay. Let me see. Let me just quickly go into the comments. So, the other thing that I wanted to thank you so much, Anna. So the other thing that I was going to go into is, no, I didn't do anything. I didn't go to my doctors. I didn't do the patches or the gums. I didn't do the steps programs. I didn't attend any of the anonymous groups. Oftentimes I wish I did, Um, I didn't go on the pills. And the pills, I mean, like, for example, the Chantix. Chantix is one of those things, one of those like pills that it helps you as a sensation medication. And which, by the way, I have tried before, because every time I would get pregnant, those were the only other times in my past that I was able to not smoke throughout the pregnancies and breastfeeding. Um, that was literally the only way that I was able to stop, because it wasn't about me. I was growing a baby, and that allowed me to not smoke during those times. Otherwise, there was nothing, literally nothing that was strong enough to allow myself or give myself that opportunity to stop. Right? I was never ready, but last year I was ready. Um, thank you so much. But yeah, so, and then what are some other things? I know, like, a lot of people ask me, like, how like, what did you do? What did you do to stop, or what did you do to cope? And honestly, first and foremost, I did, again, I'm going to stress this a lot of times, because the ban of menthol was only in Massachusetts at that time. I mean, I don't know if other states also joined into this, like, ban menthol situation. I don't remember details about it. I don't remember why. I don't remember none of that. I knew I did read up on it at the time, but then right now I have no idea. I don't remember. But first and foremost, I did not go to New Hampshire for no reason at all. And in New Hampshire is a place where I would go shopping, like, for we have a BJ's wholesale. Is like a Costco and a Sam's Club. But what we have closest to us is the BJ's wholesale. So I would go there about once or twice a month. And during that time, I did not. Um, I didn't go to Walmart. I didn't go to and of course the pandemic was happening, so I'm trying to remember of things that I avoided, like, that month or so. I just did not go to, like, these food sources, because I knew that if I was there, then I would just be able to be tempted, right? Like, how many other times in my life had I not lied to, not only to people, okay, to people that were close to me, people that loved me, the people that cared for me, and I would very bluntly in their face lie to them whenever, every single time I said I was gonna quit. And I was like, yeah, I quit like 4 days ago. I quit like a week and a half ago. I am so proud, blah, blah, blah. All in the meantime, during the day, probably I was not smoking because maybe somebody would see me somewhere, right? But then in the middle of the night, it would be 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. And what do you know? I would get up in the middle of the night, go out and have that cigarette or two or five, because I did not smoke for so many hours or whatever. Um, I would lie very, very much if I would say that, I didn't miss it, like, for a lot of the times, um, because I did. And not, just last week, was it last week? just last week. Yeah, it was at the beginning of last week. Last week it was really, really nice, like in the 90s here or whatnot. And somebody had walked by nearby. And I mean, it had been such a long time that I had not even smelled the cigarette scent, like the actual menthol. Um and I knew someone was smoking a cigarette, and specifically a Newport menthol. Um and I specifically remember feeling that whole sensation of like, oh, that smells good. And I'm like, girl, I felt like ripping myself out, staring at myself, and be like, psh, psh, what, girl, what are you saying to yourself right now? Like, no. That was the first time since the beginning, right? Since the way beginning, that I that I had that sensation, that feeling. But otherwise, I can honestly say that I don't miss it. I really don't. I don't. I can look at, cigarette boxes. I can look at other people smoking, and I'd be like, man, like, that's just not good at all. Whenever I see somebody smoking a cigarette and they're smiling, and it's like, that you're not happy right now, but we we thought we were, or you think you are, because you're smoking that cigarette. um yeah. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Barbara. That nicotine, and I know a lot of people say, like, well, why didn't you just switch over from like menthol to, to just regular, you know non-menthol. I don't even know what's out there. um and I'm gonna be honest, like, no. I used to be able to smoke any brand, any cigarette or whatever. Like, I used to help manage um my dad's nightclub here in town, and if I ever ran out of cigarettes, you know by by then, I probably already had, like, I don't even know how many cigarettes or whatnot. So, it was already in my system. And at that point, in the middle of the night, where you can't just, because you're working, you can't just up and leave to get like another box. You'll grab one from a friend, and if it wasn't menthol, it was okay at the time. But no, no. And I thank God that I didn't use that as a gateway, because um I'm happy. I'm so happy. I probably like look like I'm not, but it's hard, because while I am proud of myself, I also, um it's a milestone. I feel like I finally reached, and I crossed over. It's not a finish line, but I crossed over a milestone that I never thought that I can reach. It wasn't reachable to me. When I would make those goals of, oh, I'm done, I knew I wasn't done. I knew, that I was already planning that whenever, like, this friend and this family and this loved one would tell me, I'm like, okay, we're going to sit down, we're going to make a plan, and you're going to be done with this. And I would say, okay, I'm going to cut down. This week, I'm only going to smoke like 3 a day. But what they really never knew is that 3 didn't really ever meant 3. It probably meant 7 or 9 or maybe 10, right? Was that a cut down? Maybe, probably. because I was smoking like basically a box a day, sometimes more. If you think that, I'm over here smoking around the clock, absolutely. Sometimes it could have been more. But yeah, it was a cut down, but it was no three. I'm going to tell you that right now. It was never no three. And I lied. I continued on to lie. So addiction also comes with a lot of lies. I'm going to tell you that right now. It sucks that I'm literally calling myself, a liar. Um, but that's just the truth. That's just the truth. Um, so it's hard when you already, this is so like dark, I swear. It's hard when you already also trying to manage how to cope with other, anxieties. Um, and I'm not gonna even touch up on the whole like, yeah, plus we were in a pandemic or we are whatever situation it may be currently as of today. But at the time, like, yeah, we were in a pandemic, and no, I'm gonna put that to the side because, while that could be true, and that was true at the time, it wasn't part of, literally, it wasn't part of my story. It's not part of my story. I've always been on and off a roller coaster with, um, hand in hand, friends with anxiety, depression, and other diagnoses, that I won't I won't speak on, but um, so it was hard because smoking cigarettes was a way for me to cope with life. And when that was not there anymore, I didn't know what else to do, but I already knew that, I wasn't going to try too much. So, previously to that, I was trying to be very active. Me and a very close friend, we would go, ride our bikes at the trail. We would be walking 3 to 5 miles a day. Um, I had started running. I cared about, about my health in terms of weight and how I looked physically. Um, and then all of a sudden I stopped smoking, and I also stopped doing all of it. I stopped caring, period. I stopped caring of everything because my only focus was that I need to focus on letting this go. I need to focus on making sure that I don't pick that up anymore. Um, so the journey is not over, but you know, I don't know. It's okay. 1 year, you guys. 1 year. 365 days. And 8,779 hours. That's a lot of hours. Yep, that is a lot of hours. So when you really think about it in hours, right, you guys are going to understand what I'm going to say next when I say that then that means that it could possibly take about 6 months, half a year to meet the 4,000 watch hours. Oh my God. Oh, that's funny. Maybe not. I try to be funny. I'm not a very humorous person. I try. But man, think about it. Half a year, almost, right? But that's a lot of hours. So, and I remember right around the time that we started the live, I remember sitting down and I was counting like, wait, how many? And then I would do the little clock. I would write a little clock on a piece of paper, and I would, put 12, 6, 3, and 9. And I would just start counting like, oh man, it's been 4 hours. It's been 6 hours. It's been 10 hours. And at that time, it would have been about 22 hours, you know? Um, but it's also one of those things where a lot of people probably would look at it as like, oh, but that's just cigarettes. Like, it's not like it's another like hard substance. But let me just tell you about withdrawals for a minute, right? Um Withdrawals look so different. So different for every single human out there. It even looks different on the same human on different substances. Because while detoxing from cigarettes, to me, the way I describe that journey of detox, right? I remember getting a lot of migraines, body aches. Oh my God, the mood swings. Geez, I felt like I was some type of like alien or whatever. And if I felt that, I can imagine what, like my family thought more than half the time. Or, anybody that was around me. But I am not new to to a strong detox. Once upon a time, I was sober for many years off of alcohol, and that was another that was tough. That was really tough because I drank a lot. In my young years, I partied a lot and I drank a lot. That led me to, having to need to detox for some time. And I stayed sober for 4.5 years. I actually broke sobriety. I mean, I said to myself, since the beginning, I would never drink again. But I had to be tough on myself. I really wanted to believe that until I did. And I really thought that I would never drink again. And then I went through my healing process. I went through my detox. I went through, just trying to find a way out. And I did. I did. I very thankfully I did. And then finally I got to a point where I said, I'm going to be sober until I'm ready. And the day I'm ready, to me, it means that I am able to just take a sip socially of anything, right? And call it healthy, right? It's okay to take, a cup of something to socially interact with friends or whatnot. It's okay. It's okay to have a cup of wine or a beer or whatever alcohol, and it's okay, because I would be healed. And finally, that time came. And I actually have a picture of it. I think I have like 3 pictures. I can I can share that on Discord. But you know, I never documented the cigarette thing because I I don't know, I never did. Um but I so where I was going with all of that is this is the second time that I've detoxed from something major. And but this is the one thing that I never thought in a million years. I thought I was gonna be that 85-year-old grandma that was still smoking like a chimney, you know. And I'm happy I will not be that 85-year-old grandma that would be smoking like a chimney. I'm happy that I'm going to absolutely not be. um, so yeah. And what's coming up next, you guys? Life. Life. I last year, right before I knew that I was ready, I had in the spring of 2020, I had started to want to feel better about myself and taking care of myself. So I started running and I started being more active. All that quit, all that stuff I quit and just went down the drain. And I'm still struggling trying to get my mindset, in the right path there. I have to feel. I don't feel like I'm. Well, I'm just not. I'm not there. Right. I'm not there. Um, but I want to be. Well, I want to be. I have to be. I'm only 36 years old, and you know, even though I've already come so long, but when I stopped smoking, I've also gained the most amount of weight that I have ever, even through like pregnancies. And I can feel my body being tired. I can walk 3 blocks and I'm already like tired. Not my lungs already feel great. You guys, I feel like I can breathe. I can breathe. If I can breathe. And that feels amazing. That feels amazing. The power of being able to breathe. It feels amazing. But my joints are screaming at me. My legs are screaming at me. My hands, they get, they get numbed, and the pain is so great that I cry because I can't move my fingers. I become paralyzed because if I'm laying down in a certain way, my body weight just completely, shuts everything out, and I have no blood flow, right? So when I stopped smoking, I turned to all the sweets and all the food and everything. If I could eat it, if it's edible, I'll eat it. If I could drink it in terms of like, sugary stuff and energy drinks, I'll drink it. The coffee. Yeah, all the coffee. So there's that. But what's coming up next, you guys, is just living life, being able to be there, you know? And yeah, I did say that I was going to also plan, because my planner arrives next week, and I wanted to just kind of quickly look, like I started to make the monthly, and then I stopped. But you guys, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Um, and why? I think I'll kind of end with the why I decided to go and do the video, and it's because I know I'm not alone. I know that I wasn't alone. I know that there's a lot of people out there that are smoking. There's a lot of people out there that are smoking. They know they shouldn't, but that cigarette has some type of power, the same power that that cigarette had over me for so many years, in front of people and behind closed doors, right? And I want to tell you that you can do it. You can do it, and you're not alone. Um, we're here to help. We are here to help. There is so much help out there. And again, I have tried before Chantex. That helped me for a little while. Um, but I wasn't ready. And the mistake that I did, the one thing I did not do is that whenever I would slow down, um, I never sought therapy. I never I never, had that one-on-one with anyone, and in terms of therapy. And I believe that if you are trying to quit, that would be helpful. But do know that the strength, the willpower, I should say, strength, the willpower is within you, and when you are ready, we're ready to help as well. You're not alone. You are not alone. Um, yes, yes, Michelle. Exercise can be an addiction as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, you guys, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. And I know, um, like, not that I know personally, but I know that it's not just one of us, it's many of us that we're struggling with the idea that we're struggling with the idea and the understanding that we probably don't have the strength to accomplish something that we want, that we need. But girl, boy, yes you do. There is nothing in this world, there is nothing in this world or beyond that can deny that any of us have the willpower to accomplish that goal. That's a lifelong goal, you guys. It's not just the 1 month, 2 months, 12 months, 1 year, 12 months, 1 year, same thing. Okay. But every day is a chapter of that journey. And every day you're going to, so here's the thing, every day you're going to learn that the power that you have, and that power that's so far behind and hidden within you, is going to come out. It's going to come out, and one day you're going to be ready. You're going to be ready, and you're going to be ready, and you're going to go. And when you go, you're going to run. Girl, let me tell you something. I cannot run. Okay, 5 seconds in, and I'm already like, I cannot do this. Okay, I'm done. But when that power comes out of you, you're gonna run. You're gonna run that mile. You're gonna look back, and you're gonna look down. I don't have my watch on, so that's not gonna work. But you're gonna look at your watch, your phone, or whatever it is, right? You're gonna look up, and you're gonna just be like, I ran that mile. That's what I did right before I came on live. I have a year down. I have 1 year down, you guys. Yeah. Thank you guys for being here with us. For being here with me. For being here for each other, you guys. You guys are rock stars. Look at you. 15 of us. This is amazing. The support is like in abundance. I'm gonna also add that family is everything. Friendships are everything. And friendships is not just the people that are physically here with us, because and God, that's something that if I didn't have my team with me, my family and my friends, I know that it would have been way more difficult, right? But we also have the friendship virtually. We also have that friendship, behind the screen here, right? All of you guys. In not only here on YouTube, also on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever it is that you have extended your hand and created your community. And even the people who you haven't spoken to, but maybe they saw you, everyone touch it is a part of this journey. And a lot of times you don't realize it, but yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Speaking of which, hang on. Let me see. I wrote something down. Mel Robbins. I don't know if any one of you guys know who Mel Robbins is, but she's amazing. And I do want to wrap this up within the next few minutes. I want to keep this about an hour. Because I mean, I might come back in a few hours and do a work with me live as well, but I wanted to keep this live just for this, and and then keep it like that. But I do want to end with this quote that I heard from Mel Robbins today. Actually, it was earlier today. Change does not require, no. Let me start over. I'm like, I'm reading the words, and words are like not being okay. Reset. Okay, so the quote by Mel Robbins that just absolutely mesmerized me today. I'm sorry, you guys, if you hear the. Sorry, you guys. Okay, they went to the other side of the house. The quote that mesmerized me today. I don't know why I chose to use a word that I can't say when words are so difficult for me right now. But, change doesn't require motivation. It requires discipline. Let that sink in for a minute. I mean, this can apply to anything, right? It's not just about addiction. Okay, this just applies to literally everything. If you're human, it applies to you because it applies to everything in our lives. Motherhood, fatherhood, being parents, it just applies to everything. Change doesn't require motivation. Doesn't say it doesn't need. It's just not required. But it does require discipline. Sometimes we don't have to be motivated to be disciplined. And even though that doesn't make sense, right? But if we break it down as to why can we still get things done when we're disciplined, when the habit is there to still get it done, even though we might not have the motivation, it makes sense. So I'm going to say it again, and then I'm going to end it here. Change doesn't require motivation. It requires discipline, by Mel Robbins. And with that, you guys, thank you so much for being here and celebrating with me on my 1 year sobriety. Nicotine sobriety. No smoking sobriety. I can't even say the word sobriety. But yay. And what's next? We'll find out. What's next is that we're going to just live. We're going to breathe. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so much, Shayna. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Anna, Liz, Sandy, Angelica, Michelle, Jolie. Oh my God, Jolie, you're here. Oh, no, okay. Before I start crying, Jolie, you made it. Yep. Jamira, Robin, Shar. You guys have a good night. Thank you so much. Yay. Yay. Talk to you guys later. Bye.